From the beginning, I believe we as a nation have screwed this war up 6 ways to Sunday. George Bush framed it wrong in the first place. This was never about Saddam Hussein or weapons of mass destruction. I mean, that was a bonus. It was always about getting to Iran, the head of the snake and the center of evil in the modern world. If he had been more upfront at that point about that, I believe we wouldn't be facing the degree of opposition that we currently are and that he currently is. Britain is having problems of their own because they're mired down in political correctness. They are afraid to react and even take a small step of calling evil by its name because they are too afraid to offend even those who have offended them. Wait until you see the real story tonight about what they're not teaching in school now. It will blow your mind and should just shake you to the core. Now, we have the same problems here in our country. Where is the National Organization of Women? The oppression of women in Iran is outrageous throughout the entire Middle East. Where are the labor unions speaking up for the Iranian union organizer who had his tongue filleted out of his mouth 2 weeks ago in Iran? I'll tell you where they are. They're in Washington playing politics right now. We're so terrified of being perceived as intolerant that we've tied our own hands and lost sight of one simple fact. Calling the leaders of Iran evil is not the same as calling everybody in Iran evil. Over the weekend, 200 men and women gathered outside the British embassy in what some have suggested was a government-organized protest against Britain and the West. A protest where people were paid to attend. So which is it? Do the people of Iran really hate us as much as their leaders would have us believe? Or are they just as sick and tired and frustrated as we are? Gazelle Omid, she was born there. She's the author of Living in Hell. Gazelle, we saw the protests this weekend. You've got a book, Living in Hell. Yes. Tell me about the hell that the women in this country are going through. Just a couple of weeks ago, a group of women were arrested for trying to protest about other women that were arrested, and what happened to them.
Right. I'd like to start with, first of all, thank you for having me on the show, and then
Sure.
saying that Asude Zakharizadeh is one of those women. She's 22-year-old. She's attending a gathering, supporting those women, also gathering of supporting teachers who are not getting paid, and about 8,000 of them later on came on the streets, which you didn't hear about that because there was more important stories on your networks. And then she's getting arrested. She's taken to jail, to Evin prison. She's been brutally raped multiple times.
You can say it. Go ahead.
Yes.
You can say it.
She was raped multiple times, back and forth, and then she was released because she had body injuries.
Hang on. I want you to be clear on this. I think this is important to say. I'm sorry, America, this is shocking. She was anally raped with a baseball bat. That's who these people are.
Yeah, and then she had body injuries. She was released on $7,500 money, guarantors in the United States and in Iran. After she was taken to hospital, she was released again for 2 days, and internal injury took over, and she's dead since the other day. Now, the government of Iran is not even giving her body back to the parents and telling them that if you're speaking up against this, if you're telling anyone, we're going to arrest you, we're going to arrest her brother, which is already in hiding, we're going to arrest the entire family, we're going to take you to jail, we're going to kill you. This is how women in Iran stand up to their abusers, and you guys don't hear about them because apparently they're not important, and everybody in the United States thinks that...
You know, Gazelle, I got to tell you something. They are important. They're just not enough people that are in media.
Glenn, I don't agree. There were 8,000 people on the streets of Iran shouting 2 weeks ago against the government. We sent so many pictures out. We sent so many tapes out, but nobody listened because they're not the mainstream media sort of stories.
Yes. You're right on that. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people in this country that care, but they are not getting the truth. The mainstream media will not cover any of this stuff. I'm on the edge of the lunatic fringe in the mainstream media, and they won't cover it. And it's going to be the death of all of us.
Glenn, we need 5 minutes of your time per day to show up what's going on inside Iran, because we don't have podiums. And if we don't, this government will not go anywhere. If you really want to get rid of this Iranian regime, help us to help you.
Because, Gazelle, you and I will have a conversation off the air. You give me the footage, you give me the stories,
Absolutely.
I will expose it. Absolutely.
You
Thank
you.
you. You got it. Thank you. Book is Living in Hell. We will see you again.
Stop financing terrorism. Join Terror Free Energy Coalition. Visit www.terrorfreeoil.org.